So let me just see here. Okay, so let me just talk about some of you who are in a relationship already, because the foundation we have here, a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, okay? And it's linked up here with the Four of Wands. So let me just say, for those of you who are involved with a fire sign already, the foundation is something that we already know to be true coming into the month of April. So you have a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo. This is the personality of somebody who is a self-starter, who's very ambitious, very motivated. And I want to say, like, they see themselves as the bachelor or the bachelorette. And so they're not too ready to jump into a relationship, and they're not too ready to commit to one person, commit to just one person. And if you're in a relationship with this person, it might have been a series of merry-go-round where you might have the same arguments over the same things. And I also feel like in the past, the relationship might have been quite good. It seemed to me to be quite stable in the past, but I feel like there aren't enough commonalities for you both to be in a relationship in the future. Okay. And you might feel like this person, they just might want to play the field. They might care about you a lot, but I feel like there are some difficulties in the both of you coming together and having a solid, stable relationship with one another. So I have here a situation where you are reassessing. You're reassessing whether or not this is still viable for you to stay in, and you're reassessing whether or not you really trust this person. I do see some breaches of trust coming through. If we look at this in this combination with the Hermit is about digging deeper. There is a fire sign here that you are potentially already involved with. Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. The energy for this person is they are highly spirited. There is a very, very strong attraction between you and them. It's a lust-filled type of a interaction. And I also feel like they're not going to commit, okay? They're not going to commit. They have made that clear in the past. And I feel like if you are hoping for some type of a change around in the way that they think or the way that they see the relationship, I feel that a discussion needs to be hashed out, because the same energy is like a cyclical pattern. Trust issues I feel brewing with this relationship. And let me talk about the past. What we have here is the Eight of Wands. This is the card about communication. A lot of communication coming in very swiftly. When it shows up in the reverse position, it's sort of like inconsistent communication. Inconsistent can be, you send them a text message and then they don't respond until a few days later. Or it could be a situation where the communication has been, it's sort of like they say one thing today and they say another tomorrow. So you're getting a lot of inconsistent communication from a relationship partner. They might be traveling. They might also be like in a different time zone as well. So if you're dealing with that, just be very patient. However, I do feel like the inconsistencies is coming to the point where you have to sit down and have a discussion, because I feel like it's wreaking havoc into whether or not you can trust the other person. So I'm seeing like, and we have once again the Hermit in the upright position. So it's the same energy, the Hermit here. So I want you guys to really focus on a specific relationship partner, and especially if they are an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn, if they are, whether or not the communication has been truthful. So I'm getting like a same argument happening over and over again. And in the past, you might have said that, but I heard this, and then they might have defended themselves with, some type of a counter argument. And then every time you have an argument, the story changes, okay? So be very, very careful about these nuances, and be very careful about nipping problems in the bud. If their stories are inconsistent, I feel like there's some deception here. And they're telling you, don't turn a blind eye to this, okay? Dig a little bit deeper. Get to the bottom of the story, because it seems like it's a recurring pattern. So that's for those of you who are in a relationship right now, and I feel like a very strong, heavy fire sign energy. So for those of you who are single, things are looking good. We have here an air sign. So this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And I feel like this person, for some of you, is coming in your work environment. This is somebody who's very honest, very truthful, very faithful as well. And I feel like they have like a very I'm seeing somebody who has a really good sense of humor, sharp, they're saying sharp as a knife, and a really, really good sense of humor. So I feel like, you know, they tell you a story and then they take you down a specific like train of thoughts with their story, and then they do a switcheroo on you at the last minute. So you feel like they start out with a serious story and they switch the situation around, and then the story becomes like a joke. So I feel like it's somebody who's very witty, who's very talkative, but not, you know, annoying and overwhelming. It's somebody that is a problem solver. And I feel for some of you, this is in your work environment. There's going to be a moment at your work environment this month where you're going to feel a little bit overwhelmed. And I feel like this person comes in and they're going to tell you like a little, you know, snippet, like a little anecdote, a little joke, and it's going to brighten your day. And if you're in an environment where you feel like you don't really fit in with other coworkers, this is a person that's going to make you feel very welcomed. Okay, like they're going to go out of their way to extend an offer of friendship so that you feel like you belong. And I feel like if you have, especially for those of you on the shyer spectrum, like if you're a little bit more of a wallflower at social functions, if you're a little bit more introverted, if you keep to yourself, this is somebody who is going to pry you out of your shell, pry you out of your lair so that you can engage in, you know, social functions. Okay, so it looks really good for those of you who are, you know, starting new jobs, and this is a person coming across your path. Or if you're out in dating, I feel like this is somebody that you have an interest for, okay? This is somebody that you really like. I do feel this is a person that is very ready for a relationship, and I feel like they're truthful and they're honest. So moving forward, crowning this reading is something that you're thinking about. We have here an air sign. So we have an Aquarius, Gemini, or a Libra. So we have some very heavy air sign energy coming through for you for this month. And with the Queen of Swords, this is somebody who's very, very no nonsense. Okay, they know what they want and they usually go after it. And I feel like a quirky sense of humor, good sense of humor. It might err on the darker side, but they're not inappropriate. So I feel like this is somebody who's very, very smart. And you're thinking about this person and you're wondering why they're not soliciting you for a date. So I feel like you're getting a lot of attention from them. They might help you at crucial moments, and they're very like good at problem solving. And you might be wondering, how do they feel about me? Why are they so, you know, inconsistent as well? So, you know, one day they might be super friendly and the other day they might be a little bit on the moody side and they want to shut out the world. And you might be wondering, like, why are they like that? Why are they, you know, showing different sides of themselves every day? But I feel like the bottom line is what you see is what you get. They might be a little bit on the moody side certain days, and they might not deal with stress very well. And it's linked up here with the Five of Wands. So this is somebody that you might not have, you know, true compatibilities with. And I feel like they're generally, they argue not only for argument's sake. You might feel that way, but I feel like they argue for the truth. They argue to get to the bottom of the story. They argue to get at facts. And so you're facing somebody, or you're thinking about somebody who might have like a very straightforward, a very interrogative type of energy. So if you are in relationship with this person, I feel like they're asking you a lot of questions, and I feel like you need to be very honest and you need to be very clear that they're trying to get to the bottom of something. I feel like somebody who might have a lot of questions for you. So if you have been, honestly, Capricorns, I feel like if you or your partner have been stepping out of a relationship, there's a recurring theme here where you're going to have to hash out and get to the bottom of things once and for all. Okay. So if you're involved with an air sign and you have been stepping out on the relationship, they're coming in and they're going to want some answers. And likewise, if your partner has been kind of, flirtatious outside of the relationship in the past, you're going to demand some answers. So you're taking a little bit more of a no nonsense approach. Okay. And then for singles, I do have this good energies coming through, this heavy air sign energy. Okay. So Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. I do have as well fire sign, fun and exciting, but I feel like it's somebody that might breeze in and then, you know, they combust, like they burn out. Okay. So moving forward into your future position, we have here the Emperor in the reverse, this is the Four of Swords in the reverse, and the Lovers in the reverse. Take relationships, small steps. Okay. Take them very slowly. Make sure that you understand what the other party expects of you. Make sure you wait so that they can reveal more of, you know, their expectations, more of their backstory. So don't jump into relationships. So they're saying like, this is kind of like, you know, the blockage. When it shows up in the reverse, it's sort of like a little bit of a warning for you. And with the Four of Swords, this is a card about rest and relaxation. So I feel like for some of you, there might be, I feel like if you started dating somebody, there might be a little bit of a getaway, like a retreat between you and a significant other. And I do feel like you are going alone with a significant other. And when you are spending a lot of time in close proximity with each other, a lot of the same issues are going to come up. And because you might be like camping in a tent or in a cabin with a lot of alone time, you might be at a resort, you might be at on a trip. I feel that the communication is going to bring up some things in the past that might not have been adequately addressed, especially if you're with a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. And so I feel like there are trust issues here with this Lovers card in the reverse. There are also issues about fidelity, issues about whether or not you both are committed to each other. So this is a time for you to revisit problems from the past for those in relationships so that you can hash them out, so that you can bury the hatchet for good. And it's a really good time to come clean, to be very honest. Operate from a place of higher truth rather than an ego space, okay? Operate from the fact that I love my partner, I respect them, and I want to be honest. Rather than, you know, trying to cover your butts, trying to I want to say like spin a story a specific way, or trying to present yourself in the best light. And I feel like this energy is going to flow both ways. So I feel like there's heavy energies here for uncovering the truth, actions from the past coming back in, and discussions from the past that have led nowhere. I do see a lot of cyclical patterns. Discussions about fidelity, about, you know, where are we taking this to relationship? Are we getting into a marriage situation or not? Are we serious with one another? How serious are you with me? These issues are coming through for you to re-examine in your relationship sector. So I would say this is a really good time for singles. I feel like singles, you have some solid candidates coming through. And singles, take your time, get to know them, okay? Because I feel like you're dealing with honest people for those who are single, like especially this air sign. But I feel almost as if, you know, they might like, it might take a really long time for you to establish that emotional connection with them because they're very intellectual. And so it's going to take a little bit more time. Don't cross it off your list. Just give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a few more dates, okay? And especially for those of you who have a recurring issue here with a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, this is a good month for you to either bury the hatchet or honestly go your separate ways, because I feel like it's a cyclical pattern. It's not a stable relationship. With the foundation as the marriage card in the reverse, this is not indicative to me of a solid relationship. And so you might need to cut your losses and move on. Okay. So I apologize for the little bit of a grim reading when it comes to your relationship sector, but there are a lot of things that needs to be hashed out for you this month, a lot of things that need to be revisited.